Hi, this is Victoria Campisi with 1851 Franchise, and today I'm here with Heidi Morrissey, brand president of Kitchen Tune-Up and Bath Tune-Up for Women in Franchising series. Thanks so much for joining us, Heidi.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course. So to get started, can you just share your journey to becoming a leader in franchising?
Sure. It's a longer journey. I actually went to school to become a school teacher. So I was a teacher, and then I left that to start my own business. And my dad, who had actually become an accidental franchisor himself, he saw what I was doing with my business and thought maybe I could help him with some of his training, marketing, things that I was doing. And so he asked if I would come back and help him with his business. And, as I came back into it, I'm one of those people that I have to understand everything that I'm doing. So immediately, the first book I bought before I even started was Franchising for Dummies. I was like, I just needed a basic. And then I realized there was an organization called the International Franchise Association. And I told my dad I'd like to start going to those conferences to learn more, and actually got my CFE really early on when that program was starting. So that was kind of the start to everything. When I came into the business, I really needed to really understand what our franchises needed, because the one thing that has kept me here for 21 years has been watching franchises come in with, maybe very little knowledge of running a business. Sometimes they have a lot of knowledge in running the business, but watching them kind of flourish within our systems and within our industry, that's just something that you just you want to be around for. It's fun.
Great. What are some unique challenges and opportunities for women in franchising?
I'm not sure if they're unique to women. I think the challenges that we all face are probably the same. In our industry, specifically kitchens and baths, it's very male oriented. And when I showed up to Kitchen Tune-Up in 2003, there was like one female that worked at our office, and it was all men. And pretty much every franchise owner was very male dominated. And so at that point, as a female coming in and as the daughter of the founder, nepotism was not looked on as something that was a positive type of thing. So you kind of have to go in and you have to show that you're vulnerable. And I think for a lot of women in any business or industry, we try to mirror maybe masculine tendencies to try to hide from some of the female. And I probably tried that for the first 6 months or so and realized that wasn't going to work. It wasn't very authentic for me. So I needed to be kind of like a mom at times, because that was something that was who I was. And there were times where I just needed to listen and understand. And I think that it can be kind of lonely, as a leader in any industry. And I think for women who really crave connection and who really crave that, strong communication, I think that could be the area for females that they just want to be aware of when they get into any business, but franchising. Compared to today now, 70% of our home office is now female. And we have more female owners than we've ever had. Single female owners. I have two 22-year-old female owners that do an amazing job with their businesses. And it's just so very different now as I watch people look at this industry, not as a male industry or a female industry, but as an industry that is doing something to improve homes and lives.
Awesome. How would you define success in your role?
Success is it defined as achieving goals? I ask this question of our franchise owners at every training school. When will you know you've been successful? And I think that for a lot of us, it's a moving target, because once we get to success, we want more success. We want a different success. So, one of my goals is to help people launch their business and learn how to be successful running their business and profitable. I think that's really important. I think a lot of times when I stop to recognize successful moments, they come in bite-sized pieces. There's not really, the big event when we actually sold the company, that was a huge, big success that we could all celebrate. But the other successes have been really kind of small incremental goals that we set every year, kind of taking my strategy for the year, putting it into practice, and then watching that unfold. And I think about that as being something that helps success show up in any role that you're in.
Great. What advice would you give to franchisors who are looking to support female franchisees?
I again would say I think that it's needed for both men and women, right? And so I totally understand, but I would say being authentic and being kind. I know it's really important to have guardrails, and we have to have a semblance of order in order to run a successful franchise. And so I've kind of always been looked at, I think, in our organization, if you ask franchises or even our home office team, they'll say, Heidi is very kind like a mom, but she's also strict. There are things that, I want to do to bring everybody along with me because communication is so critical for women. I think that, we don't like surprise parties. I think it's important that we get brought along in the journey of what we're doing and sharing your strategy at the beginning of the year, and then talking about how the steps that you're taking are affecting that strategy and how they're helping the franchise owner. I think that's really so important. So when I look at communication, I think, we do emails regularly. We have a daily podcast. So they're getting to hear from somebody on the team. For the first 200 of them, they were me, but less than 5 minutes, we're just talking to them every day, bringing everybody along. We do quarterly town halls. We have weekly calls that the franchise owners can all attend where we might be doing breakout rooms, or we may be doing panels and just talking. I think that having the opportunity for strong communication and maybe even over communication is probably part of the secret of what really works in franchising. But I would think even more specifically, if we were looking at females, how important that is to have that communication, that really open outlet to be able to share ideas, collaborate. I think that's even more important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for women who want to enter the franchise industry?
I think you have to stay focused on working on you first. I think that the most important thing you can do is continually grow your own skill set, grow your confidence. And I tell all of our franchise owners this, and especially my home office too, is that you need to work on the thoughts that pop into our head. Every day we have around 80,000 thoughts that just pop into our head, but only 20% of them tend to be positive. Usually there are things that we're beating ourselves up, or we're revisiting something that happened that we wish didn't happen. And becoming a strong leader, and especially in the franchise space, I think being able to manage your thoughts can be really powerful. It can be like, I'm going to throw those to the side a little bit. Let's focus on what we do want and not what we are not wanting to have in play. Because, as that leader or as that franchise owner, you're going to influence others around you. It'll just be a natural influence. And I think it's important that part of the modeling that we do is showing that we do have the ability to control what we're going to say and how we're going to say it. And that just shows that you have a level of confidence, I think, in anything that you're doing in life.
Definitely. Is there anything else that you want our audience to know?
Well, franchising is an exciting industry. It's fun to get into something and watch so many different people from different parts of life just doing something that everyone loves to do. And they're all working towards a collective goal. I don't think there's anything like being a leader in this seat. And, I see there's a longevity in franchising that you don't see in other industries from leaders. And part of that is because, it almost becomes addictive. You watch somebody, they are coming to you with kind of, everything they have, and they just want to try out this new hat in life, this hat of running this business. And, that's a lot of faith that they're putting into your brand and into your team. And we're putting faith back onto them. And so with that kind of shared goal and that shared vision together, there's just something really cool and creative about being able to go forward with that. So, there are definitely days that are harder. There are days that, things aren't exactly the way you'd hope they were. But I think if you kind of keep that long range plan in place and you keep shooting for what it is that we do want to go to, and surround yourself with positivity and have team members that are also all about positivity, you're going to definitely find that the industry itself not only is thriving and growing, but it can be really a great career path too.
Awesome. That's great. Well, that's everything I have for you. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. Thanks.